So, I just finished the only or mostly Yuyong, because you can't really just do only, to be honest, to Grandmaster. I started Silver 4 predicted ranked. It took me, as you guys can see, it could have been faster. I feel like I just got a little bit unlucky at the end. It took me this amount of games. I went 51-26 with 66 win rate. So I feel like I have the authority to speak about 10 things that helped me in climbing with them. And I feel like if you apply these 10 things, you can also climb to Grandmaster, right? Because I just did it. Yeah. So let's start all the way up top. I'm gonna be speaking, maybe I can post clips about specific gameplay, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find clips about every single point. I'll try to. So the 10th one is, believe it or not, is range. Yuyong has a very, very good range. Not only on its primary fire, of course, it goes forever, right? But on his healing too. See this? Pretty cracked. So if you can do this, you should be using it. Why? Because if you're too close, you're too exposed. And you're not creating space. His E is also insane range, look at that. Right? So that's my, even his ulti is also very good range too. So this character is not a character that you should be close to your team. You should always be trying to like off angle or like far away as possible. And some people might say, oh, what if they have dive? You need to stay close to your team. But my theory is, if you're close to your team, that person that is going to dive is going to have even more value. So yeah. Always utilize the range. Think about that. You go into a game, okay, what is the max range I can be from that target? It's here, okay. Let's use it then, right? That doesn't mean you stay AFK all the way far back, but it means like you think about it, right? The 9th thing is that everything that I'm talking about, it's from experience, okay? I'm not just pointing out things just in the air. I wrote 10 different things for experience that I feel like I needed to do certain games. Sometimes you see a tank and you shoot him, right? But nothing is happening. So, as per general, I do not recommend shooting tanks, because Yuyong is really good at shooting the backline. So imagine that's the enemy tank. Yeah, you can shoot him, but you can also shoot Diana all the way far back. And if you can, you should always be applying pressure to those supports or to those DPSs. Always. Why? Because you're going to shoot the tank. He's going to get healed by Ana. If there is a support on your LOS and you know you can hit him with your primary fire, always apply that. It's so good. The amount of games that I win the first fight because I fully hit like a full explosion twice. The amount of space you can create and pressure, it's crazy. So stop shooting tanks and start shooting their backline. Whenever you can. Sometimes you can't because peeking too much is too much danger, right? But whenever you can, shoot the backline. You see someone across the map, shoot him. Direct your orb and shoot him. That's going to help you apply pressure to them. And if Diana needs pressure, she needs to use the nade for herself. She doesn't use the nade on a tank. You know what I mean. Okay, the 8th one is that, you know that feeling that you get annoyed because someone is not... Imagine, sometimes you're with your team, right? You're playing with your team. And then there is a DPS flanking there. And you're like, guys, there's a fucking DPS there. Contest him. Guess what? Yuyong can contest by himself. So, shoot that DPS is on the flank. Don't be scared. Sometimes it's better to let people not be super full HP to shoot that. It's more, I recommend you to do that. So, you see a widow across the map? Hey, use the geometry to contest her. You see a soldier high ground? Use the geometry to contest her. Do you know that Tracer is behind? Poke her down to death. Contest them. Don't be scared. Don't be... Your team dies, that's fine. It's better for you to pressure them and not, like, just get dove, like, by mosquitoes, like Tracer and shit. Obviously, you want to try to do both, but always pay attention. Yuyong can do that. He can contest people high ground. He can contest people flanking. Contest the widow across the map. He can do that, so use it. Don't stay AFK, okay? The 7th one, this might be... You're gonna hate me for this. Especially since I spent like a whole year playing Mercy, but... I recommend avoiding Mercy mains. I have nothing against the character or whoever mains, it's just... Mercy is the weakest support in the game. I don't think Yuyong is that strong. And he's just gonna have a hard time playing with a Mercy. Why? Because Mercy and Yuyong, they contradict themselves. Mercy wants to damage boost, and Yuyong wants to do damage. If they're both in the same team, you know what I mean? It's a little bit contradictory. You can still make it work. I won a lot of that. Well, today I won because the Mercy was really good on Oasis. Like, she had the moves, right? But if you can, always, you want a main healer with your team. Why? Because that's how Yuyong gets value. He doesn't get value by healing a lot, but by doing damage, right? So I would recommend every time there is a Mercy, avoid them. I think that helped me a good amount. Every time they had Mercy, I feel like I probably have a 100% win rate against Mercies on the enemy team. It just feels like the game just feels like a way easier. The sixth one has to do with his shift, right? For example, you cannot get high ground here by just jumping. But Yuyong, whenever he's surfing, he can get higher high ground. So you can get high grounds. Oh, I missed. What the fuck? You can get high grounds otherwise you couldn't get. And it's more than you think it is. It's more than you think it is. There's a lot of high grounds. It feels like you can get it, but you can actually get it. I don't know if I can show you here on practice range. Any like crazy high ground that I can get. Oh, for example, that. See? It looks like you can get that with the jump. But with Yuyong, you can actually can. It's crazy. And like this, there's a lot because you kind of like, you see that? Look. You wouldn't imagine that you would be able to do that, but because how the surfing and the water and the smoothness on the ground works, a lot of times you can get on the edges that otherwise you might think that you can't get. So use that, right? A lot of maps, they have like, how many times I survive against the Doomfist because I used my shift to get high ground, right? There's a lot of cool rollouts you can do, so if you can, use that power. The fifth one has to do, I mean, it has to do a little bit with the points that we pointed out, but position. A lot of people say that you should off angle with him, and I think there is times to off angle with him, but if you think about it, he has this ability, right, which heals people. So you need to be close to them, right? I mean, you can still be off angle and close to someone, but like off angle across the map, I don't recommend doing that because your E is about your team and your right click is about your team. Your ultimate also can be about your team. So I don't recommend doing that. So how do you know you have a good position as Yuyong? Again, you try to apply everything else that we talk about. You can get high ground, keep the healthy distance, be aware where your team is, you know, stuff like that. If you die because you get dove, it's either because two things. Either you didn't use your cooldowns well, or you waste them, or you use them when they have dive, or you're too close to your team, right? So you want to make sure that you're always thinking about where do I need to be to get value, right? They have a wither, you probably can't pick that much, unless like you're using the curve a little bit and then you hide again, right? So it has to do also a lot what they have. But if you go, I feel like that it's such a good improvement. If you go into a game thinking, okay, where do I need to be? Here, am I safe here? Am I high ground? Can I see my team? Stuff like that. It can increase your wins by a good amount. Fourth, it has to do with his ultimate.
Reverse the tide.
As you know, Yuyong's ultimate has a lot of utility. He has speed, he has a shield, he has extra healing, he has damage, and he has a knock. So it is a very good ultimate. Now, it can easily be wasted. It can easily be wasted, same as Nano. So you kind of have to see it like Nano. You need to time it well. You can use it when someone is critical. But you need to be careful because if he's critical, you might go back instead of going forward. So you need to plan your ultimates. Imagine you start the game, you press tab. Okay, who can I ulti? Characters that have mobility, you ulti them. Characters that can go in, mobility, you ulti them, right? That's like the biggest rule. Combos, right? Like Blades. Usually, good ultimate combos like Orisa, Blades are characters that can go in, right? But you need to be careful to not use it too early. It's a very momentum ulti. If someone asks for it, sure, go ahead. You don't want to save it for Overwatch 3 too. But like this pre-planning will help you a lot not wasting your ultimates, okay? It can either be used as defense or offense ultimate. It depends what characters you have. It depends on the momentum and stuff. Okay, third. Use the bans well in order for you to have an easier time, okay? Use the ban heroes plan. You can also use the map bans, right? I think Yuyong is better on long range maps. You can make it work on close ones, but I think he's weaker the closer they are to you, just because of how his fire works, right? If they're super close to me, you do no damage, so you need to be a little bit distant. So I would recommend closed up range maps. In my experience, like, that's always better, right? It's always worse for Yukong being super close to the enemy. So long range maps, like hybrid mid to long range, is where he shines, in my opinion. You can make it work because I feel like he's very hybrid, but yeah, another thing is that the heroes, you want to ban every single dive hero. I have very success on banning tracers, balls, divas, Winston, sombras, right? Venture, so whatever you feel like you have weakness, but basically dive heroes are pretty annoying. It's not because you can deal with them, it's what happens especially in low ranks. You're dealing with the dive and it takes you a while because you have to run, you don't have much damage up close. You're not like a Kiriko that can 2-tap, right? And your tank feeds because he has no resource. It's more because of that. It's not necessarily because like you don't know how to deal with them or you don't have the resources. It's more, especially in low rank, it's more about the fact that people don't understand that you're getting dove and you can keep them up. You can do two things at the same time. Sometimes you can, but for most part it's really hard and you won't be able to do it. Especially with Yuyong, right? So ban dive heroes. The second one, something that I was experimenting with disease is, at the beginning I was playing very aggressive with disease, like doing damage and shit with it. There is a time for everything. For the most part though, I see Z as an extra when all the people are critical, like when your team is very lined up with the enemy. Yeah, you can use it like in a game like King's Row. But usually you want to save it for when you need to do extra healings, right? Because Yuyong needs resources. It's resource based. So, for example, if this was a tank, I would have used it here and tried to use it on the enemy too, right? So he gets extra healing because, in case you don't know, EZ applies, it's like a nade, a healing nade, right? When they get hit by it, you will actually do extra healing to that target. Not only you, but also your other support. So that can be really good. But you also want to save it for most part if you don't need it because you might get dove. And that's your only self-heal that you have. Right? Again, you can use it aggressive, there's a time for everything, but by a general rule, you want to use it on your team, right? To sustain them. Besides, remember, you will be able to shoot more if you use your E on your tanks, right? Because they get healed faster and you can apply faster, right? That's pretty much the only reason. The first one, and this is very important. This is where like I felt like I started carrying games with Yuyong. Don't fucking be healbot. Oh, I need to save this guy. I'm just gonna heal and pay attention to them all the time. No. Your main focus is Yuyong. And sometimes you might sacrifice a couple of teammates because of it. Fuck them. Your main focus is gonna be hitting your balls. You should always be shooting. Like, pressure will always be better than saving teammates. You're support, but you wanna apply pressure. And you do that by shooting all the time. Try to do both, but shooting all the time, especially with the perk that he has where he shoots and the person that has the orb gets sealed more. Always be shooting. Always, always. Always applying pressure. If you feel like you're not applying pressure with Yuyong, you're doing it wrong. Always. Always be shooting. At the beginning of every fight, if you manage to hit a couple of balls, you most likely is going to win the fight because how much pressure you do. So get the practice down. It feels weird a little bit at the beginning controlling the balls, but with time we will manage. So yeah, that's the 10 things that helped me climbing with him, and I hope this actually helps you on your journey to Grandmaster. So yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed.